Most veterans who receive a somatic symptom disorder diagnosis from the VA walk away thinking their condition is unrateable, and that is wrong. 2. Last episode, we covered TBI and the 10-facet rating system. Today, we are covering what the VA means when they call your physical symptoms somatic, why that label does not end your claim, and how to use it to your advantage.
Marcus here. Somatic Symptom Disorder, abbreviated SSD, is a psychiatric diagnosis applied when a person experiences significant physical symptoms combined with excessive distress about those symptoms. The physical symptoms are real, not imagined. The diagnosis describes the psychological relationship to those symptoms, not their origin.
Nova here. In a VA context, the label is often applied when physical symptoms do not have a clear organic explanation. Pain and fatigue without identified structural cause, for example. The VA examiner may not be able to identify a structural origin, so they categorize the presentation as a somatic or somatoform disorder. That is a diagnostic statement, not a denial of service connection.
The critical point is this: somatic symptom disorder is still a ratable condition under VA law. It does not require an organic diagnosis to be service connectable. A veteran whose unexplained physical symptoms were caused by or aggravated by service can establish service connection for somatic symptom disorder, just as they can for any other psychiatric or pain condition.
Imagine a veteran who cannot work, cannot maintain relationships, and has been told their condition is somatic, all in your head. The general rating formula for mental disorders at 38 CFR 4.130 still rates that veteran on occupational and social impairment. The label does not eliminate the rating. The functional impact does the work. Team first, topic second. Quick intros.
Marcus here. I love the ones where the gap between know and do is the whole topic.
Nova here. I came to ask what the control group looked like.
Lewis here. What you can miss without time is how we got here.
You heard them. Now the topic. Now the topic.
The general rating formula for mental disorders rates veterans on the degree of occupational and social impairment produced by their condition. For somatic symptom disorder, the evaluator looks at how the physical symptoms, regardless of identified cause, have disrupted the veteran's ability to work and maintain relationships. The cause does not determine the rating, the functional impact does.
The GRF scale runs from 0%, no occupational or social impairment, up to 100% for total impairment. 10% covers mild efficiency losses under stress. 30 to 50% reflects meaningfully reduced reliability and productivity. NAIN, 70% and above represents deficiencies in most areas of life.
Think of it like this. The VA is asking what your life looks like because of this condition. A veteran who has lost 2 jobs in 3 years because chronic pain and fatigue make attendance impossible is describing at least a 50% level of impairment. A veteran who has become socially isolated and has been hospitalized for symptom management is describing a 70% level.
The most important thing Marcus and Nova both pointed to is describing your worst days, not your average days. Veterans with chronic pain or fatigue conditions have variable presentations. For conditions with flares and remissions, documenting what happens when symptoms peak is the real baseline, not the compensated functioning days.
Treatment records, function logs, and buddy statements are the documentation that supports a high rating. Treatment records show the symptom burden over time. Function logs capture specific incidents, missed work days, canceled appointments, inability to complete basic tasks. Buddy statements from family or coworkers describe observable changes in behavior and functioning.
The somatic symptom disorder diagnosis is appropriate in some situations. If a veteran has persistent physical symptoms that have been genuinely investigated without an organic explanation, and those symptoms produce clear distress and functional impairment, the diagnosis describes what is actually happening. In those cases, accepting the diagnosis and pursuing the rating makes more sense than fighting the label.
The situation changes when the diagnosis appears to be used as a way to minimize or dismiss symptoms. The VA does not want to service connect. If a veteran has symptoms requiring a clear diagnostic workup, imaging studies, and specialist consultation, and the VA skipped those steps and labeled the presentation somatic, that is a situation worth challenging.
Red flags that suggest a bad faith somatic diagnosis include a single exam determination without a full symptom workup, a generic somatic label applied to symptoms that have a known association with service exposures, and a diagnosis that arrived after years of prior documentation pointing toward a different condition. Good point, Nova. When the label appears designed to close a claim rather than accurately describe it, that is the time to push back.
Challenging. A somatic symptom disorder diagnosis requires bringing evidence of a clear alternative diagnosis. A private medical specialist, a neurologist, a rheumatologist, an infectious disease physician who examines the veteran and identifies an organic condition provides the foundation for a re-diagnosis. The VA must weigh that private opinion against the C&P examiner's findings.
The strategic question is whether accepting the somatic diagnosis and pursuing the highest rating under the general rating formula produces more benefit than fighting for a re-diagnosis. In some cases, the answer is accept. A somatic disorder at 70% is worth more than years of appeals. In others, the re-diagnosis opens a physical condition rating that is more clearly justified. Stick with me through the next scene, because the Goal 4 illness overlap changes this calculus entirely for some veterans.
A private provider evaluation, also called an independent medical examination or IME, is the primary tool for challenging a VA somatic symptom diagnosis. The specialist reviews the veteran's complete medical record, including all VA records and service treatment records. The evaluation produces a written opinion about the diagnosis and the nexus to service.
The IME needs to do one of two things: either provide an alternative diagnosis with a nexus opinion linking that condition to service, or, if the somatic diagnosis is accepted, provide a nexus opinion linking the somatic symptom disorder itself to service-related exposures or stressors. As Lewis described, the opinion needs to meet the "at least as likely as not" standard the VA requires.
Finding qualified private examiners for VA claim support can be done through VSO referrals, through VA-accredited attorneys or claims agents who maintain relationships with medical providers, or through telehealth-based IME services that specialize in veteran claims. The cost of a private examination varies significantly. Some VA-accredited attorneys cover the cost contingent on claim success.
What to bring to the private examination: complete VA records from all treatment facilities and military service treatment records. Include a written symptom diary documenting the onset and progression of symptoms over time. Nova, the symptom diary is particularly important because it establishes the timeline in a way medical records alone often do not.
Once the IME is complete, it is submitted to the VA as supplemental evidence. If the claim has already been denied, it can be the basis for a supplemental claim or for an appeal to the Board of Veterans' Appeals. The VA must consider and address the private opinion. They cannot simply ignore it.
Veterans who served in the Southwest Asia Theater after August 2, 1990, face an additional dimension to the somatic symptom disorder issue: Goal 4 illness. The VA recognizes that many Goal 4 veterans developed unexplained chronic conditions, including fatigue, musculoskeletal pain, and gastrointestinal disturbances. These are the same symptoms that sometimes receive a somatic symptom disorder label.
Under 38 CFR 3.317, Goal 4 veterans with a medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illness are entitled to presumptive service connection. The regulation does not require an organic diagnosis. The lack of a clear diagnosis is actually part of the definition. A veteran with unexplained fatigue and pain who served in Southwest Asia may qualify for this presumptive without proving a direct nexus to a specific exposure.
The qualifying symptoms under 38 CFR 3.317 include chronic fatigue and functional gastrointestinal disorders, as well as musculoskeletal pain and neurological symptoms. All of these can also be labeled as somatic symptom disorder. The distinction matters because the presumptive pathway does not require a nexus letter.
As Nova described, the risk is that a somatic symptom disorder diagnosis, applied to what is actually a Gulf War illness presentation, can redirect the claim into a harder nexus, required pathway, and away from the presumptive pathway that the veteran would otherwise qualify for. Veterans with Gulf War service who have received a somatic diagnosis should verify whether their symptom profile qualifies under 38C, CISSP 3.317.
This is urgent. The Gulf War illness presumptive deadline is December 31st, 2026. Veterans with Southwest Asia service who have unexplained chronic multi-symptom illness, regardless of whether it has been labeled somatic symptom disorder, need to evaluate their eligibility for this presumptive and file before that deadline.
The most important reframe in this episode, a somatic symptom disorder diagnosis from the VA, is not the end of the claim. It is a starting point. The diagnosis identifies a rateable, service-connectable condition rated under the same general rating formula used for PTSD and depression. The veteran's real impairment still translates to a real rating.
The accept and maximize strategy works when the somatic diagnosis accurately reflects the veteran's presentation. In that case, document the highest possible level of occupational and social impairment. Pursue the rating under the general rating formula and use the service connection as the foundation for any secondary conditions that flow from the somatic disorder.
The challenge and re-diagnose strategy works when there is evidence of an organic condition the VA missed. As we covered in Scene 4, this requires a private IME from a specialist who can provide both an alternative diagnosis and a nexus opinion linking that condition to service. That opinion gives the VA a specific rateable condition in place of the somatic label.
The combined approach is available when the private evaluation identifies an organic condition alongside the somatic symptom presentation. A veteran can receive a rating for the newly identified condition under its own diagnostic code, and simultaneously maintain the somatic symptom disorder rating for the remaining unexplained symptoms. Each condition is rated independently under the appropriate formula.
What Erica is describing means the two strategies are not mutually exclusive. A veteran can pursue the organic rediagnosis through an IME and still hold the somatic disorder rating as a fallback, because if the organic condition is identified, both can be rated simultaneously. The claim does not have to be either or.
If you forget everything else in this video, remember, a somatic symptom disorder diagnosis does not mean your condition is imaginary, and it does not mean your claim is over. It is a psychiatric label applied to real physical symptoms. It is rateable under the general rating formula, and if you have Gulf War service, verify your eligibility for the presumptive pathway before December 31st, 2026.
Drop in the comments, if the VA gave you a somatic symptom diagnosis, did you know that it was still rateable? Your experience here may help a veteran who just received that label and does not know what to do next.
Okay, it is quiz time. Let's find out what stuck. Think through each question carefully before you answer.
3 seconds to like, 2 seconds to subscribe, and a lifetime of our gratitude.
A veteran receives a somatic symptom disorder diagnosis from the VA following a C&P exam. Does this diagnosis end their service connection claim? The correct answer is B. No, somatic symptom disorder is a rateable condition under the general rating formula for mental disorders at 38 CFR 4.130. The veteran can pursue service connection and a rating based on occupational and social impairment, even without an identified organic cause.
a veteran who served in Kuwait in 1991 has chronic fatigue and gastrointestinal disturbances that the VA, too, labeled as somatic symptom disorder. What additional claim pathway should they investigate? The correct answer is C. Gulf War Illness Presumptive Service Connection under 38 CFR 3.317, which covers medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illness in veterans who served in the Southwest Asia Theater after August 2, 1990. And the deadline to file is December 31, 2026.
TAC. What is the purpose of an independent medical examination in a somatic symptom disorder (VA) claim, and what must it accomplish? D. The correct answer is D. An IME from a private specialist either provides an alternative organic diagnosis with a nexus opinion linking it to service, or confirms the somatic diagnosis while establishing a nexus opinion linking the somatic condition itself to service, related exposures or stressors, meeting the at least as likely as not standard.
Today, we covered what somatic symptom disorder is and why it is still rateable and service-connectable under the general rating formula. We walked through when to accept the diagnosis versus when to challenge it. We also covered the private IME strategy, the Gulf War illness overlap under 38 CFR 3.317, and how to build a claim on the diagnosis you have.
Oak, you. 3 years from now, you will be glad you understood that a somatic label was a starting point, not a stop sign. The veteran who pursues the rating on the diagnosis they have, while investigating whether a better diagnosis exists, recovers benefits that otherwise would have been left unclaimed.
Next episode: why most veterans experiencing cognitive decline and memory loss never connect those symptoms to their military service, and the TBI, PTSD, and toxic exposure pathways that can establish service connection even decades after separation.
Subscribe so you do not miss it. And if the Gulf War illness deadline applies to you, do not wait. December 31st, 2026 is not far away.
Don't forget to like.
I am Professor Erica, signing off. If you have Gulf War service and unexplained chronic symptoms, verify your 38 CFR 3.317 eligibility today.